All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Team Call. My name is Natalie Schauer. I'm a Senior Ruby Ambassador, and I'm excited to kind of share tonight what's been on my heart. I've told you before, usually when I'm, leading a team call on something, it's something I'm dealing with myself. And so this is me speaking from a place of conviction and passion in my own experience. Usually it's not me just, I have this perfected and let me tell you about it. Because I'm telling you, if you've been through some stuff, be encouraged. If you're in the middle of this and you're like going through some stuff, it's the stuff that you go through that helps other people down the road. So keep that in mind as well. So I called this call, It's Your Turn, because I'm telling you, there are so many times where I feel like, gosh, when is it my turn? When do I get to get that incentive? Or when do I get to earn that trip? Or when do I get to rank up or whatever? There's so many times that goes through my brain when I'm watching other people, go after something and get it. And it's even outside of Plexus, just in my life in general, I've had a lot of like, well, when is it my turn to get that? Or when is it my turn to be that? Or when is it, I mean, we all have that, right? On some level, we all experience that. Gosh, when is it going to be my turn? If you are on my team, you're going to find a lot of this very familiar because we've been going over this in our coaching. But still take notes and be a part of this, because I think if you guys all really just dive in and get the meat of this, you can pass this down to your teams and use it as well. And I think you're going to find that a lot of the wrinkles in your business will kind of iron themselves out by asking some of these vision questions that we have. So, I had said in the post, we're not going to sit and wait anymore. We're not going to sit on the sidelines. We're not going to watch everybody else win and succeed. We're not going to keep, watching everything pass us by. We're not going to just miss a rank up, but we're not doing that anymore. Okay. It is your turn. It's your time. You need to be ranking up. You need to be moving forward. You need to be leveling up because your team needs to see it. The people that you are influencing need to see it. You need to see it. Your family needs to see it. Ranking up is important. And so if you're not pushing to rank up, you need to find out why deep within yourself and start pushing toward whatever that next rank up is. So I was going to tell you a story about, I used to be a pageant girl back in the day. And I remember one pageant, I was getting ready and I was like, you know what? I was getting ready. I use that loosely. Getting ready, meaning like I was getting all the stuff that I needed in the dress and my makeup and everything, but I wasn't, practicing the talent that I needed. I wasn't working out. I wasn't showing up as the girl that I wanted to be or the girl I was trying to win or become, right? I wasn't showing up as her. I was just kind of like, I'll figure that out when I get there. I'll tell you, I didn't even place that year, didn't even come close. Then next year, I actually got invited to attend the state pageant, the Miss Michigan pageant. Miss Michigan USA, was super excited about it. It's very hard to get into that pageant. So same thing. I I sent all my stuff in. I got my dress. I focused on my makeup, all the things. I had spent zero time practicing. I spent zero time working out, getting myself ready to be in a swimsuit in front of people on stage. I spent zero time doing the things that I needed to do to be disciplined enough to be the girl that I was trying to become. Didn't place, didn't even come close. It was quite embarrassing. And I was like, gosh, what did I do wrong? Well, I'll tell you what I did wrong. I didn't even prepare. So the next year comes around, I'm invited back. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to actually prepare this year. Well, you know what your girl did? I waited until about 2 weeks before the pageant, decided to start, okay, I'm going to go on my diet and do my workout and do all the things and get ready. And I'm going to be so ready for this thing. And can you imagine how that turned out? I wasn't prepared. I was not ready. I was not being the girl. Now I was like almost like an imposter, like trying to hurry and like act like the person that I was trying to become. Right. So then the following year, this is my 4th year. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it again. You know what? I really started showing up as, what if I did win? How would I have to show up every day? Because there is a USA pageant after this. And so I started early. I started working out. I started eating healthy. I started, Emily's laughing. I was on some crazy Atkins diets. I'm telling you, it was crazy. I started, doing the things that I needed to do to be prepared. I started working on my speech. I started working on my walk. I started working on all of those things. I actually was my probably some of my healthiest in that time, but this is pre-plexus, my healthiest pre-plexus I had ever been. I was very confident in myself. My speech was right there. And I still have people from that year in my pageant days talk about the green dress that I wore because I wore it so well because I was healthy that year. I really I put myself in a place where I was showing up as the girl that I was trying to be. And I did so much better that year. I didn't win, but I was in the top 20 that year, which was a huge win for me once we saw all the score sheets. So all that to say, you have to show up as the person that you want to be. You can't just hurry and do it real quick when it matters. And you can't just, skirt by and think that you're going to make it. That's not how this works. But I remember that fourth year telling somebody, man, I just really want off this Ferris wheel. I keep going back and I just keep doing the same thing. Well, there was a point a couple months ago, in my business, my points have gone up and my points have gone down, and my points have gone up and my points have gone down. And I've almost hit emerald and I've gone back down, and I've almost hit emerald and I'm just being very vulnerable with you. That's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I literally said to Emily, I want off this Ferris wheel. I don't want to be on this Ferris wheel anymore. And I thought about my pageant days. And I remembered saying that to somebody, and I'm like, I need to start showing up as the person that I'm trying to be, not, just trying to skirt by, because that's not how this works. So I'm going to, let me find I gotta do this here. Okay. Can y'all see this? I'm like always nervous. I'm never nervous about speaking. I'm always nervous when I have to share my screen. Don't ask me why. Right. I'm like, am I going to do it right? I get shaky when I have to start sharing my screen. Goodness gracious. Present and present. Okay. We all can see this, right? We're good. All right. So vision is what it takes, right, to get to that next level and to show up as who you want to be. I like to think of this as it's like standing outside a door, and we want to go in, and we're excited to go in, and we all think we're going to go in the second that door opens. But I will say, if somebody looked at you and you've watched all these other people go to the other side of this door, and you don't know what's behind there, and you don't really know what you're getting into or whatever, the second somebody says, all right, it's your turn, there is a moment of you kind of freeze up, you get butterflies in your stomach. You're like, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to, I don't know if I want to go in there now, whatever there. And I would relate that to a fear of success or a fear of failure. It's a fear that you don't know what's on the other side. The thing about that is, I think a lot of us, we wonder if we can handle what's on the other side. We wonder if we're going to be alone when we're on the other side. We wonder if we're even worth being on the other side. Will we even be able to stay there if we get to the other side, right? Those are some worries and some fears that we have. And so we kind of get worried about actually going to the other side of that door. But you can only stand outside a door for so long, wondering if you should open it, how to open it, making plans to open it, talking to, whatever. You can only do that for so long. At some point, you need to figure out what's on the other side. What do I want to be on the other side of that door, and go after it. You might be saying gosh, Natalie, I'm trying to get to the other side, but the problem is I have so many issues in my business, and so many weaknesses, and so many downfalls, and so many problems. I thought it was interesting that Sabrina was talking about the law of attraction, because I actually have that in my notes for tonight too. This is all about the law of attraction, right? You're only going to move toward the positive things that you're thinking about. So if you're constantly focused on the problems that you have on this side of the door, that's not going to get you through the other side. What's going to get you through the other side of that door is focused on what you're after, what you want to go towards, how you want to get there, who you want to be, what do you want to be on the other side of that door. That's what's going to get you to the other side of that door, not focused on all the reasons that are keeping you out here. That's not going to get you to the other side. So we're going to talk today about not so much focusing on the problems in our business and how to fix those, but where we're going, why we want to be there, how we're getting there, and what you can do to make that connection. So, Helen Keller says the only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision. You've got to have a vision for where you're going. That's the only thing that's going to propel you forward. So I thought the best way to talk you through what vision is and how to activate vision would be to kind of give you some questions. I gave these to my team to kind of just get you really thinking. And all of these, like I said, a lot of these questions should iron out a lot of those wrinkles for you, so that you don't have to be so much focused on the wrinkles. You can just be focused on moving forward. So first up, okay, so write these things down because these are things you're not really going to be able to do like right now. These are things I want you to really think about and write down and share these with your upline later on, because this is going to be something that I think is, you'll be able to use this to share with your team. New sharers, it'll help with them to be able to cast vision and get a why from them. So picture yourself as a confident, highly respected, successful 5-star diamond speaking on stage at convention. Okay. Seriously do that. I said confident because I don't want you to be worried about like, oh, I'm nervous on stage. Like you're confident, you're on stage, you're highly respected, you're successful, you're a 5-star diamond, you're speaking on stage at convention, and start visualizing what that is. What are you wearing? What are you wearing on stage? Okay. That's just fun to think about what you're going to wear. What are you wearing? Who are your jewels that are in the seats that are cheering you on? Okay. Couple hints into these things. And when I'm asking, what are you wearing? And you're thinking about what you're wearing, maybe start dressing like that more often. That's like a little physical way that you can kind of, bring on that vision a little bit. Start dressing a little bit more like that person. If you go to sit down and do your work in the morning or whenever, like kind of dress up like that person that you're envisioning on the stage. Who are your jewels in the seats that are cheering you on? This will give you some ideas on, who you need to cast vision to. Who do you need to pour belief into? This will help you kind of think of like your dream teamers. If each one of those jewels, by the way, this is just a little freebie side note. If each one of those jewels individually, you got to think about this individually. If each one of them were to get up, and I know it sounds crazy and weird and a little bit selfish, but if they were to give up and give a little speech about how much they love you and what you did to help them reach their potential, what would they say? Because I've noticed that if I'm having a hard time pouring into somebody and I'm not sure what to do to like bring them forward, I have honestly in my head thought, man, what is it going to be like when they succeed? What will they say that I was able to help them overcome? And a lot of times that gives me some clues into what I need to do as a leader to help them move forward in unbelief or, some mindset issues that they're dealing with. So that's something that's a little freebie for you. What are you speaking on? If you're giving a speech on stage at convention, what are you speaking on? If it's something that just comes naturally to you, I'm just going to tell you that's not inspiring, right? If you just I've always done this perfectly from day one, and that's what's grown my business. That may or may not really inspire people that much. What inspires people is something that you've been able to overcome, something that you've learned, something, maybe a mindset issue. Maybe it's, I've had to overcome fear. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be like your own story, but something that you have experienced with that you've been able to overcome. What are you speaking on? What is that? Because whatever that is, that's usually a key into what's holding you back right now, something that you've had to overcome, right? All right. As a successful 5-star diamond, what does your life at home look like? So this is where you're going to start digging into what you're going after. Are you in a bigger house? What does it look like? Do you have a housekeeper? Do you get your nails done? Do you get weekly massages? Are you throwing fancy catered holiday parties? Do you brunch with your friends? Are your kids being schooled the way that you choose? Do you give extravagantly to others? Do you have more time with your kids? Do you get to travel with your family? Does your husband get to stay home? You retired your husband? Did you get to go shopping for a whole new wardrobe for this convention trip? Like whatever excites you, that is what you need to have on this sheet here. What's going to excite you about your life? You can clearly see what mine are because these are generally all of mine. These things excite me, right? So what excites you about living that life as a 5-star successful diamond? Now, there is like the whole I want to help people and I want to see that's great. That's more of like a mission statement, like what you're doing, right? You're helping people. Your vision is what does your ideal future look like? They're two separate things. So of course we're going to be helping people. Of course we're going to be sharing products that work. Like all of those things are great, but that's more of your mission statement. Your vision is your ideal future and what that looks like. And guys, be a little bit selfish with this if you have to. Don't pick something that just looks good on paper, but it doesn't really excite you. So if you're like, if something like, I really wanted to just, give to all these charities, but that doesn't like motivate you and excite you right now. It might motivate you and excite you more in the future. This might all change. But right now, if it just excites you to think about maybe getting your nails done when you want to, that's okay. Use that because that's going to get you to move forward. Whatever gets you into forward movement, you need to use that. Again, those will all change. So, I know we all want to give extravagantly. It was probably a horrible example because I know we're all like, we all want to give. Of course, we all want to give. But what's going to excite you right now in this moment? Okay. So if you're looking at these things, what you see, I love when Emily talks about this, because she'll like, when she's talking about your future and your vision, she's talking about like your house, like, what does it look like? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? Like when you're thinking about your life as a diamond, I want you to actually like really dig in, close your eyes and think about it. I was asking one of my girls today because she was like, I want to be on 5 acres with a view. And I'm like, great. Where are you looking at that view from? What does that view look like? Is it fall? Is it spring? Like it's silly, but write these things down and get a very specific picture about what excites you so that you can use that to move you forward. This is generally your why, honestly. Like, and your why might feel very shallow sometimes and selfish, and your why might be very big and generous and helpful to others. And that's fine. Whatever excites you and motivates you and gets you to work, that's what you need to be focused on, right? All right. And then I would go through and like, which one of these excites you the most? So this might change daily too. Like which one of these excite me the most? There's days where having a housekeeper excites me way more than anything else. So I get to work because I want a housekeeper because my house is in shambles, right? So think about which of these excite you the most and be focused on those things. All right, next. What is the main difference between that person that you saw on stage and who you are right now? What is the difference? What did that person overcome? What hard things did they do? What do they do daily that you don't? And what had to change to get them there? I think these are really important questions to ask yourself, especially if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're doing all the things. If you can see yourself, you almost have to like scale back and like look at these two people as if you don't know them, right? Your future self and your current self, and look at your current self and your future self as just an outsider looking in. What would you say is the main difference between those two people? Because I think if we're just in our day to day and we're stuck in our head and we're thinking about all the things that we're doing and we're stuck in the present right now, it's hard for us to see what needs to change. But if you could pull back and look at this person and look at this person, what needs to change for this person to turn into this person? Okay. This should show you what belief or fear is holding you back. There are a few beliefs that generally do keep us from showing up, right? So a lot of times when I ask this question, it usually is rooted in some type of fear or belief. If it's I don't really have belief in network marketing. Well, maybe you need to watch some diamond documentaries. You need to start doing some research on successful network marketers. Network marketing holds the most millionaire women in the world, right? So network marketing is successful. People are very successful in network marketing. Why not you? Why can't you be a part of that? Network marketing is a great business. Watch, like I said, diamond documentaries are a great thing to be a part of and to dive into if you are struggling with that belief. If you guys are going to be like, Natalie, but you all think about this a little bit. Sometimes don't act like you don't. You don't have belief in your team that you have currently, right? A lot of us are like, if my team would move, it would be great. A lot of times this is rooted in a lack of belief in your leadership, because you don't feel like you have what it takes to get your team there. So even if you feel like it's all them, there's usually a lack of belief in your leadership somewhere. Start investing in your leadership, start reading books, listening to podcasts, start really investing in yourself as a leader, because great leaders can motivate anybody. They can motivate and inspire people that really have a vision and a want to go somewhere, but you've got to know how to cast vision. You've got to know how to talk about a why. You've got to know how to coach. You've got to know how to lead people. And if you don't know how to do those things, well, then your team might look like they don't really know what they're doing and they're not really doing much, but they may not, that's it. They may not know what they're doing and they just need help breaking through to that next level. So a lot of times that's a lack of belief in your leadership when you're lacking belief in your team. If you don't have belief in the products, right? You're like, man, I don't know. Can I sell this product to as many people and keep them on it long enough to go diamond? Okay, that's a belief in the products usually. People are seeing health victories every day from these products, every single day. If you get into gut health and happiness, you can read through the testimonials. You can literally watch anything from Jessica Hungenord. She can go through and just break that all down for you, and give you an idea of the science behind it, why it works, how it works, and some really radical ways that it works. I love watching her. Start reading about the science of gut health. I mean, this doesn't even have to be within Plexus. It can be the science of gut health, the gut-brain connection, gut health and migraines, gut health and sleep, gut health and depression. Start reading through all of that. The more that you can be confident and excited about the products that you have and what they can do, the more belief you're going to have in those. And then the big one is no belief. If you're lacking belief in yourself, which usually is the biggest reason that I see people struggling to break through to the other side, you need to be doing affirmations. Okay, that's the biggest thing with belief in yourself. You need to be doing them every single day, and you need to be specific about these affirmations. I can sit here and say all day, I am a good leader. Okay, I'm a good leader, and say that every day. Great. What does that mean? What does that mean for me? Okay, I attract strong leaders that are motivated. My leadership attracts strong leaders that are motivated to do the work. My leadership and start getting more specific about those affirmations. Don't just spew general things. My daughter, every time she says, well, both of them at this point, my two oldest have gotten into I just look terrible, or, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Say all those things. And when they do, I shut them down right there, because there's power in our words, friends. And I'll tell them right then and there, I want 5 positive things about yourself right there. You need 5 things to cancel out that one negative thing that you said. All right, I'm kind of smart and funny. No. I want very specific, confident, affirmations about yourself that are going to cancel out those negative things that you just said. And you need to do those same things to you, not just, I'm good at business. I'm going to be a diamond someday. Those are great and those are wonderful, but you have to be specific. You have to be specific. If it's something that you don't really believe, then that's an affirmation. You need to be saying that every single day. If it's something you already believe in, it's just an easy thing to say and believe it, it. Find something that's deeper, find something that's more specific. You want to 10x this concept? Write it down and say it every single day. Write these down and say them every single day, because there is so much power in both the written and the spoken word. Okay. You need to be writing it and saying it, because getting those down on paper, getting it out of your mouth, that's what's going to start shifting things so that you start gravitating toward more positivity in your business. Regardless of what you are working on, I just want to say this, whatever belief issue that is, regardless of what you are working through, show up for your team. Okay. Your team needs to see you, that you still need to show up for your team. They're counting on you, right? So be serving your team and show up excited, show up motivated. There's, many times where I was lacking belief in my own business or lacking belief in myself or whatever. And coaching my team helped kind of smack myself in the booty a little bit, right? So show up for your team, coach them, be excited with them. And a lot of times it's that action of just doing that will help you break out of that cycle of unbelief, or break that cycle of fear that you're dealing with. But show up for your team. Let them know that you're still here and you're still moving forward. Okay. Don't make them second guess whether, are you still doing Plexus? You don't want to get that from your team. Okay. Still show up for your team, be excited and be confident with them. Like I said, the more that you dive into that and the more that you're coaching and helping your team, the more that you're going to find that's actually going to help you as well. Most fear or belief issues can be solved with action. Many times if we're feeling stuck or lost or helplessness is just another word for fear. There's a fear somewhere. Okay. What can you do that's productive, that you are in control of, that you can switch today? Is it that, like, is your office just a mess, or your workspace? Is it just a mess and you're organized? You have 188 different lists that you've written down of reach outs and follow-ups and everything scattered. You don't remember. Okay. Take a day, get that all situated and in one spot so that you can clear your brain of all of that. That's something that you can focus on, that you can be productive in. And usually once you start combining those lists, you see a bunch of people that you're like, oh, I haven't reached out to them in a long time. So, do something that you are in control of, that you can be productive with. Then get some action behind your business. Action is always the cure for fear every single time. If you have a lack of belief or a fear that you have been able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Locate. Whatever, a fear that you've been able to observe. What's that word I'm looking for? Whatever. Anyways, if you have that, please speak to your sponsor. Okay. That's the best thing that you can do, is talk to your sponsor, talk to your upline about it. The chat is blowing up and I'm sure you guys are giving me the word that I'm looking for. Identify. Thank you. That is the word that you've been able to identify. I appreciate that. That fear that you've been able to identify, the belief that you've been able to identify, or the lack of, talk to your sponsor and your upline about it. Here's the thing about fear and belief issues is the more that they sit in the dark, you have to think about them as like a plant. The more that they sit in the dark and underneath the surface, the more the roots grow deeper, the more that they just keep getting deeper roots. But and you can't do anything with it, right? You can't, besides obviously digging it up, but just, from what we see on the surface, there's nothing you can do about those fears or anything that's stuck below the surface. But if you can really dig in and figure out what that belief or that fear is, talk to your sponsor upline about it, get it out into the open. Once it's exposed to the light, you can actually do something with it. When it's exposed to light, you can actually grab a hold of it, right? And take it out and pull it out. The more that you can talk about it, the more that you can actually, talk about that fear, maybe where it's coming from, the more that you get out into the open, the more that you have to get a hold of to uproot that thing. So it cannot stay, right? If you've got someone that's helping you get it out of there. But if you don't talk to anybody about the fears or the lack of belief or whatever that you're dealing with, it's just going to stay in there and they're going to take deeper roots. So you have to be talking to your upline about this. I promise you, and I'm going to say this is something I struggled with for a while. I didn't want to tell Jamie and Emily a lot of times if I was dealing with a belief issue, because I felt like that didn't make me worth diamond. It didn't make me worth something, because I couldn't say, I never once doubted that I could do this. Well, there are times that I have doubted, but it's because I've been able to talk to my upline about it and they've been able to walk me through it and help me identify a fear or a belief issue or something that I've been able to actually work through that and move forward and beyond that issue. So please be in communication with your sponsor at all times. All right, next, that was a really long slide for just a couple questions. Sorry about that. How would you show up this month differently if you showed up as that person? What actions would you take every single day? What level of confidence would your messages carry? How committed to your building your business would you be? I think I meant to say how committed to building your business would you be? And how would you talk to people? This will clue you in on what you need to change, moving like the quick things right now that you need to change. Start showing up as that person every single day. Here's the thing. If you have 0 people on your team and you just today decided you want to build this business and you're listening to this call, you have a business, right? Because you've decided to have a business. You own a business. So you need to show up as the business owner and the successful business owner that you want to be. If you've got 5,000 people on your team, doesn't matter how many people you have on your team, you need to show up as that person every day. Start showing up like that person now, even if you only have a couple people on your team, because autopilot, y'all, it's real. And you want to start showing up successfully, professionally, confidently, consistently, every single day, optimistically. Start showing up in those ways every day now, so that when you get that massive team, that's your rhythm, that's your MO, that's your autopilot. I show up consistently, and I always have. I show up, optimistically. Like, start getting that as your new autopilot. Start doing those things now. Start holding yourself accountable. Okay. Get into an IPA chat. If you're not in an IPA chat, ask your sponsor about it and find one to get into. I'm sure they have access to one that they can plug you into. And if you're a sponsor and they ask you about it and you don't know about it, ask your sponsor. Someone knows where this IPA chat is. So you need to get into an IPA chat if you are not in one. Accountability is vital for your success. It's for you and your team. Keep in mind, statistically, your team will do half of what you do, right? So if you are only, doing like 3 reach outs a day, they're probably only doing 1. If you're only posting, 2 or 3 times a week, they're probably only posting once, if at all. If you are showing up to team calls and coaching calls and you're like distracted and you're doing other things. And by the way, we all know when you're doing other things on the team calls, we can all see it. We know what it looks like when people are not actually on team calls and they're over here doing other things. You can tell. It's funny when people are like doing this thing and acting like they're involved, and then you see they posted 3 minutes ago, so we all know when you're not paying attention or totally in on team calls or coaching calls, specifically coaching calls too, because that's so important, because they're giving you their time. Your sponsor or your downline or whoever that is, they are giving you your time, and they've carved out time to pour into you or for you to give them feedback on their business to help move them forward. So be present and be there. If you're showing up half distracted and they see you on team calls that you're distracted all the time, they may not show up at all on team calls, right? Remember, because they do half of what you do. So be present, be aware of what's going on around you. You want your team to take you seriously. So you need to show up professionally and dedicated every time you show up. Be in community. Okay. I think I can take this off actually and stop sharing and just kind of get back with y'all. Be in community. All right. Get to events. That's another big one. Make sure that you're getting to events and that you are plugged in with those people. We talked about, going to the other side of that door. If you're just spending all your time out here with people that are like, do you want to go through that door? You don't know what's through that door. That's people that go through the door are crazy or whatever. You don't want to spend your time with those people. Be plugged in with the people who are working to get where you're going. Be plugged in with those people. Like I said, go to events, even if they're events that you've been to a million times, go to them. I'm going to tell you, I'm getting ready to go to my 4th Rubies on the Rise. Okay. My 4th one, I keep getting invited to this thing. And you know what? I keep going. And it's the same exact thing every single time, same slideshow, same booklet, same information, all of that stuff. But you know what? I go every single time because I come back motivated and there's something different I took away that I didn't get from last time, right? Gold School. If you've been to Gold School already, Leah's talking about it. Gold School this weekend in Austin. Y'all, I'm going to be there. So I'll see you guys if you're there. Gold School, if you've been already, go again. Go as much as you can. Go, like, be in, especially like being in the community of, the corporate leadership that pours into us and is actually making the decisions that we're, implementing all the time, and being around other people who are motivated and excited to go where you're going. Like, you want to be a part of this. Okay. Get into community. If there's not a corporate event going on, get into community with your own team. All right. Find different ways to plug in and be a part of your team. My team, we do a hangout. It's our team huddle every Thursday night. We do it every Thursday night without fail. There is, other things that you can do. Do a sip and share, invite a couple people in your area and do a sip and share together. Do something. By the way, if you're by yourself, there was a time before Kristen was on my team, there was a time where I was by myself over here in Dallas and y'all were a Michigan team. And I was like, I don't know anybody over here. And I would plug in to these calls and this type of stuff as much as I could so that I could be a part of this community, because I didn't have anybody here in my area. But guess what? I was still moving. So if you don't have anybody in your area, don't let that be an excuse and don't let that be a crutch. Find a way to plug in, even if it's virtually. We're getting ready. We're actually planning for my team, surprise team, to do like a virtual hangout where it's going to be like, y'all, it's going to be like a 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We're going to stay up in our PJs. We're going to all order in pizza, get your favorite drink. And we're just going to work like it's the end of the month, but it's probably going to be like, October 12th or something, because we all just want to like, dive in and do that fun, exciting thing that happens at the end of the month and do it together. But it doesn't have to be just on the end of the month trying to skirt everything in, do those things often and get yourself around those people. The other thing you can do is find someone that you can relate to. And like on social media, if there's a diamond, or I would probably recommend a diamond, so that, you can see where they are, where you're trying to go, right? Watch them, someone that you can relate to and someone that inspires you. Start following them, see how they post, see what they do. There's times where I'm like, man, I just don't know if I have what it takes. And then I go find like a diamond who did it, who's a lot of my personality. I'm like, well, I mean, they did it. So, I mean, I'll just post like they post, and it helps to just show that like anybody could do this. There's all different diamonds in this. There's men, there's women, there's old, there's young, there's, people that have, are married, not married, kids, no kid. I mean, whatever you are, you can find a diamond that you can relate to with your same personality or whatever. And you can follow them and see how they, like, whatever you need to do to feel like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Like, find somebody that you relate to, right? And start seeing how they post and what they're posting and see what they're doing. The other thing is, this is the last thing, track everything that you do, okay? Track everything you do. Whatever is trackable is measurable. If we're showing up as a diamond every single day, successful business owners, doesn't matter what business it is, if it is a successful business and it's going to keep being successful, they run their numbers, right? They know their numbers. They know their forecast for the next month. They know what their growth was this past month. They know all of those things. Track everything, track your work. Whatever is trackable is measurable, which is fixable, right? You can see where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and everything needs to be tracked and measured. If you're not sure, like you're like, man, I feel like I'm doing all the things, start tracking, because I guarantee there's a place in your business that you feel like is getting more attention than it actually is. And that might be the one thing that's keeping you from propelling to the next spot. The last thing I was going to talk about with tracking is track where you are for the month too. You have to know where you're at. You can't just know where you're going for the month. You have to know where you're at, and you have to know what your progress is. You have to know how you're doing, and you have to know if it's looking like you're going to hit your goal or not. Too many times and too many months, I have spent so much time being like, yep, going for Emerald this month, gonna do it. And I know that what it takes, and I know, and I'm like, listen, I've got this many points in, and this is the number that I know I need, and this is how many joins I know I need, or whatever. And it's great. But throughout the month, I'm not actually tracking what my progress is. Am I even close? Am I even on track? Am I even doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing? So one way to do this, and I think it's the smartest way, and it's actually been what has motivated me and kept me on track the most, is take the number. Let's take the number that you're going for, divide it by 28. So when subs run, you should be at your goal. I would say 30 or 31, but that's, I don't feel like that's consistent. And I don't want to be the last day of the month trying to get my last little bit in, right? I want to rank and be done by the 28th, and everything else is gravy. So if you want to go senior gold, for example, that's 250 points. You're going to divide that by 28. Okay. 28 days in the month that subs run. That's 8.92. Okay. I don't care if it's 8.02. You need to round up, because those percentages will shave some off each point. You don't want to be short again. So always round it up. So 8 point something, you're going to go up to 9. So that's 9 points every day that you need to have in. Okay. So yesterday you should have had 9 points in, and today you need to have 18 points in. Okay. If you don't have 18 points in, treat today like it's the end of the month for those 18 points. Pretend like you have a rank up on the line. Start working with that urgency and really make it happen so that you have that 18 points by the end of the day. Work through your level 2s, work through your level 3s, work through your level 1s, work through your white lines, work through your subs that are short. All of those things. Start tracking everything every day. That way you know what kind of progress you're making, and you know where you're falling short. Work with that urgency and that conviction every single day, and act as if it's the end of the month every single day for you to hit whatever that number is. Okay. And keep in mind, we always talk about, a lot of times the stuff that we do at the end of the month spills over into the next month. Well, if you started that early, then it would spill over to the next day or the next day or whatever. And you've got all this time to be really pouring into these people. I'm going to tell you, $10 off doesn't make the decision for people. I know we think it does. We're like, well, it works because it's the last day of the $10 off. No, That's not it. I wish I could tell you that it is. It's the urgency and the conviction and the excitement and the passion that you're bringing is what makes the difference between them ordering that day or not. Okay. Because we all show up with so much excitement and passion and conviction and all of that on the last day of the month, they jump in. It's not the $10 off. If that was the case, they would have responded to that at the beginning of the month when you told them it was the $10 off. And just because it's ending, if it's something that I was really like, that's not what it is. It's your excitement. It's your, we've got the water bottle while supplies last. Get people in on that right now. Start talking to them. That's going to end. That should give you some urgency. You always got something you can work with. So take that number, divide it by 28. That'll give you what you need. If you're a little bit behind today, fine. I know that tomorrow I need to do double down. I need to do extra because today I was supposed to be at 18. Tomorrow I need to be at 27. Okay. Do what you need to do to be at 27. That will help you to know whether you're on track or not. It's really great when subs run and you're like, oh, I have extra points today. That's great. Don't slow down on those days. Still work with that urgency and that conviction because there's going to be other days where subs don't run and you're going to need those extra points. So stay ahead of it, stay with it, track everything that you're doing. Show up as a diamond now. These are the thoughts and the actions and everything that are actually going to get you to that other side. So like I said, you can use those questions that I asked you when you have a new sharer come on. That's a good way to cast vision, a good way to dig down and get their why. If you've got a team member that's stuck, you can use that. So anyways, I know I went a little bit long. I generally do. I'm sorry. But this was so important and I'm excited to just kind of share some of the things that are on my heart. And I'm excited to see how you guys all do and to see everybody start ranking up. All right. Love y'all. Have a great night and we will talk to you later.